The first thing I want to talk about today, and this is really just real basic, can start with you type stuff, is to just always be curating content. And so the first part of this is aggregation. And you may have heard this before, but it's training our minds to just think creatively. You know, if I know that in 6 months I'm going to be running a marathon, you better believe I better be training now so I don't go out there and kill myself, when I try and run this thing. And so the same is going to be true for creativity. You know, if we know that Christmas Eve is coming up in 2.5 months, there's a little hint for you if you didn't know. Coming up in 2.5 months, what are we doing now to prepare? It's just a little unreasonable to walk into a meeting a week before and think that you've got time to come up with this great idea, pull it off and execute it well, all in the course of like 7 days. Are there some people that have that gift and can do that, frustratingly, for the rest of us, maybe, sure. But I don't have that gift anyways. And so, we all have different gifts and abilities here. And I guarantee you I'm not the most creative person in this room. But that doesn't mean that that's not something we can all work towards. I believe that anybody can be creative if they just put in the work. And so that's why we have to always be on the lookout for things that inspire us. It can be, and this is easy, this can be as simple as like just a classic film with a great story, maybe not Napoleon Dynamite or something like that. It can be as simple as a walk around a park or through an art museum, just anything to get you out of your context. Maybe go serve downtown, get a different perspective, on your, well, for me, I would serve downtown, we're in the suburbs, but, step out of your current context a little bit, get a little different perspective on your community. Maybe attend a church that's different than yours. Go to a big church if you're at a small church if you're at a big church. Different denominations, those are all good things. Social media, follow inspiring things, unfollow the junky ones. Just do whatever you need to do to get yourself in this rhythm of constantly inspiring yourself. And if you do this right, you'll end up with, thousands of pictures, notes, bookmarks. You've probably got a good head start here at this conference already. I've taken 100 pictures already. And the best part is that no one's judging you on these things, so it doesn't matter if they're terrible, or doesn't make sense later. You're going to be the only person who's going to see these things right now. But then that's where the second part of this comes in, and that's organization. And this is the hard part. This is where most people are going to get lost, get frustrated and give up eventually. And you probably won't figure this system out the first time around, and that's okay. But it's going to be different for everyone. Maybe use Evernote, to track quotes, sermon series ideas, thoughts, just things that pop into your mind, or Pinterest, say what you will about it, can be good for tracking images, websites, things like that you find. Pocket is a good kind of online way to organize websites, YouTube videos, online content, stuff like that. So again, there's 100 of those things out there. Those are just the ones I use primarily, but just find what works for you. And then the third and final part of this is going to be application. And it's taking all these ideas and concepts and drawing connections between them to come up with something new. And it's ideas that when connected and applied to your context are going to be a new way of reaching your people. Todd Henry is the author of a book, The Accidental Creative, and he said this, I thought it was good. He said, "Some of the best work that we do is frequently a result of being inspired by someone else. You shouldn't be ashamed of drawing inspiration from other sources and applying them to your work. At the heart of it, that's the crux of innovation. It's the collective grasp for what's next." We talked a little bit about that this morning. And it's always built on the work of those who went before. So study people who inspire you. Authors, directors, artists, and then figure out who inspired them. And pretty soon you'll have this big kind of family tree of inspiration that you can draw from.